message was echoed again in Supreme Master Chinghai's discussion, The Attainments of a World Champion, with our association members on February 1st, 2009.
Supreme Master Chinghai's lectures are not a complete meditation instruction. Please do not try alone. For free of charge guidance, please visit www.godsdirectcontact.org or contact any of our centers near you.
I read you some story. The story of a world champion. The guy is a number one, champion. World champion. Long time ago. There was a guy. He has a lot of special talent. Yes. He is very diligent in learning. Yes. He's good with his hands. Yeah. And he's diligent. Therefore, anything he can learn, and learn fast, and he does it good. When he's only at the tender age of 20 years old, he was already famous as the most talented artisan. So he became very, very arrogant. Yes. And therefore he decided that he's going to learn more and more of this other skill so that nobody can compete with him. Thus he became even greater and greater and more famous. Yes. So he packed his tent, with a steel cup. You know, the one that you use for Meli in a retreat. Yeah. And then he went all over the place to try to learn different skill and different art, of different trade. Not just in this country, but he went all over the world. Every country, every nation, every little corner, every village. If he heard of someone who was skillful in some special craft, then he would go there and try to learn it. Because he's very diligent and he has the, motivation to be a world champion in craftsmanship. So he learned very fast. He has the talent also to learn fast. Once you are used to with something, it's easier to learn other things sometimes. Like if you already know English, it's easier to learn maybe French or Spanish, or the similar European language. Okay. Not only he learned fast and master the art that he studied with anyone, but he even exceed them in a higher level, like whatever he learned from them, he became even better than the teacher. Yes. And not only he learned about the craft, handcrafts and all that. Before we only have handcraft, we didn't have machine. Anyway, he's famous for a good handicraft person, and in any art at all. Because handcraft, there are many things, like lamp, or you have woodcraft, carving, sculpturing, all kind of things he can do. He learned all and he exceeds them all. He's the best. Not only that, he even knows feng shui, Yes, he even knows how to cook. Yes, he learned all the cooking, and maybe now and again he show off on the Supreme Master television, you never know. Check it out. Check it out, his website. He knows even singing, playing musical instruments and all that. So he's excellent in all fields. He could even play Chinese chess. And he could also play cards, like blackjack, whatever you call them, white jack and yellow jack, all kind of jacks he can play. So he really knew many things, Now he feels more and more great about himself. So he decided that, okay, he's going to go all over the world to have competition. Yes, to show off his talent, to see who can ever win him at all. He's sure nobody can, because he has learned with the best masters of all arts. Yeah, and he exceeds even the masters, so who can even defeat him? Oh, wonderful. So he make a journey now. He wants to have his name carved in the tablet of history. Yeah. So he doesn't want people to forget him. I am so and so, you know. I lived 100,000 years ago. What's the use of doing that? Tell me. Any of you want to leave your name on the tombstone of history? No, huh? When you're dead, you are dead. When you're dead, you are dead, right? Correct. Thank you. Possible that when you're dead, you're still alive somehow? So, who is there to look at your name? Even if your name is carved on the greatest tombstone in the whole world, and when you're dead, can you read it? No. Maybe you can, who knows? You're not dead yet, you don't know. Almost everyone like to leave his or her name, yeah, into the history, to the record. I don't know what for. Suppose we can eat it, then it's not too bad. Or suppose we can spend it in some way. Suppose we can keep it always in our body and our mind, that we know it after we die, then it would be not too bad. Maybe we could know it after we die. You know, there are ghost stories, you know? A love story, but ghost story also. And so maybe the ghost, the deceased, after they die, they probably go back to their tombstone to have a look at their own name and, you know, how people revere them. Possible, eh? Possible that you will derive some pleasure after you die, if your name is on the wall somewhere. If we have not died, we don't know yet, huh? Well, we do know, right? But because when we die, we don't stay around on the planet, that's why. Every day you die, but you go somewhere else, huh? You go up to the higher level. So you probably don't know the pleasure of the guy who leaves his name on a tombstone and who hang around on the planet as a ghost. Okay, would you prefer that? Or having no name and just go straight to heaven? Yeah, that's better. Second option, eh? Much better. That's right. So, he wants to be world champion of everything. So now, one time he passed by a neighboring country, and then he saw in the crowded street of a big city, there was a man. Again, that's a man. There was a guy. There was a guy in the middle of the crowd, in the middle of the big city. You see? So when there is a man, even in such a crowd, such a big city, you notice him right away. He's a man. Yeah. He was selling bow and arrows. Okay. This man is also a kind of repairer for this kind of thing, a bow and arrow. Yes. And then he was standing there with everybody else, watching this master of the craft, you know, like bending the wood and taking out the arrow and twisting the wire, you know, and things like that. It's very, very fast and very flowing, so skillfully, so masterly. And he was standing there and he looked, he felt too bad already, nah, that he didn't know this thing. So he was thinking to himself, if I'm going to compete with him in his craft, I'm sure he will win. Yes, because he's too good, too good. So he come and, you know, pretend to be humble himself and learn the craft from the man. 3 days only, he learned everything from the master. Not only that, as usual, he could make it faster, better, more skillful. Better than the guy. Yeah, this is special. So he say goodbye to the master of the bow and arrow, and then leave again. And then one day he passed by a river, so he need a boat, you know. So he was sitting on a boat, and there was a boatman who was rowing the boat, and he looked at him with his big muscle, you know. The boatman with big muscle like this, you know, similar to this. See that? Yeah. So he was thinking, oh, lucky I have not dared him to compete with me in rowing boat, or else I will lose for sure. So he was also begging humbly with this boatman to learn the art of rowing. Yeah, 2 days only, he succeeded in knowing how to row the boat. And even better than the teacher, of course. Huh? He's a champion, you know, he's a guy. Huh? He's a Z guy. Okay. And then one day, you know, he went past another country and he saw a beautiful palace, a royal palace with so much splendor and artistic carving and all kind of fantastic detail that he has not seen anywhere else. So he was thinking, oh, this must be an extraordinary architect. So he, of course, keep asking people about his address, his email and all that, and then finally found the architect and also learned with this architect. And after not long, he also succeeded becoming a fantastic architect himself. Everyone, you know, with graduation, yeah. The professional architect. Now he said goodbye again and continue his way. Trying to, you know, make competition wherever he goes. He went around about 16 countries. Won so many championships. Everybody who competed with him lost, for sure. So in the later days, when anybody or the best of the artisans heard of his name, they bow their head in awe already. Yes, they don't dare to go out and compete with him ever again. All of them. So now everybody praise him as the best artisan, the one who make craft, all kind of thing. He is the best artisan in the whole world. Yeah, now everybody, you know, worship him, revere him, praise him. Everywhere he goes, everybody know who he is and what he is. So he's feeling very proud and happy. For a while. You know, let's face it, even if you're the most famous person in the world, how long will you enjoy your fame? Huh? How long will you satisfy yourself with this kind of grandeur, hey? You can't eat it all day, no? Breakfast, lunch and dinner. Even the best food in the world, if you keep eating it every day, you also feel fed up, no? Right. So therefore this guy is the same. After enjoying this glory for a while, he became a little bored. He felt a little lost, you know, lonely, because nobody could match him. Oh, that's a terrible feeling. You are alone in the world, like you're on top of the mountain, all by yourself. Wouldn't it be nice? Yeah, many of us would like that, huh? You always complain to me, oh Master, I like to go in the Himalaya, sit in a cave somewhere and meditate. Yes, because I'm so bothered by family, you know, friends, job, trouble, tax, you know, bills and all kind of things. I'm fed up. I like to be alone in Himalaya. Yeah, not long either, you know. Yeah, you feel also bored alone there. Maybe not. Truly it's nice to be alone. Have you felt that way sometimes when you have a chance to be alone? Wonderful, huh? Yeah, talking about it. I know it well. The niceness of being alone, of solitude, the mental tranquility, you know, no bothering, no worry. That's the nicest thing you can have in the whole world. You could be alone and do what you want. Yeah, not just meditation, but just be alone. Then the mind's more calm, you know. All the people's ideas, questions, demands, not dancing in front of your nose anymore. And you just calm down and you just be yourself. Yeah. You can see yourself clearer, yeah, better. Yes. And sometimes better idea comes out. But the thing is, better ideas come out, we better go and use it to serve the world. That's why we come out. Or else, it's nicer to be alone, chewing over your ideas. So, he was very lonely. And then the Buddha know about him. Now there come the Buddha in his life now. The lonely and isolated and, you know, too much of the good things. Like the Buddha wanted to help him, you know, this champion. So Buddha, of course, wear a monk's robe, you know, like a bhikkhu, huh? And then he has a arm bowl with him, for food. And he came and meet the guy. The man was very kind of surprised, you know, like a little bit perplexed, because wherever he went before, up to now, nobody was Buddhist. Yeah, there was no Buddhist where he has traveled. So he doesn't know what kind of clothes the Buddha was wearing. He felt, this is a very funny clothes. So he asked, you know, the bhikkhu, the monk, he called it bhikkhu. I have gone, visited many countries, but I have never seen anyone who wears such clothes like you do. What kind of profession you have? Your craft, anything different from other craftsmen or other artisan or not? So the monk, who was Buddha, answered him, say, my profession is repairing the mind and the body, like speech, body and mind, something like that, you know? Okay. The guy has never heard of such a profession, you know? So of course he asked, how you do that? With what kind of instrument? Like, okay, if you carve the wood, you have to use a carving knife. You do the sculpture, you have to use sculpting instrument. And what kind of instrument you're using to repair the body and mind? Yes. This is a very strange profession. And he was very surprised and interested. So the Buddha, you know, of course at that time he doesn't say he's a Buddha, huh? And the guy also wouldn't know what the Buddha means anyway. So the Buddha explained to him that if a person who wants to repair and adjust his body and mind, whoever wants to do that, must have a very special talent. Yes. That you can have a victory over yourself first. Because if you have not had victory over your own self, then you're not a champion yet. You're not great yet. Yes. To be able to be a great person, you must be able to win over yourself, not somebody else. Oh, this guy has never heard of this before. He said, oh. If, the Buddha continued, if a person has attained this state of of his mental victory, yeah, over his own self. Then he became a very bright, illuminated person. And his illumination, his brightness around him could pierce, all the corner of heaven and earth. Yes, his light, the light from him will pierce heaven and earth. So this man, of course, doesn't know anything like this before. Yeah, how can you even have light that pierces every corner of heaven and earth? Wow, this must be a very special artisan. Okay, so the all-star world champion was very interested and very happy. So he, of course, begged him to teach him all this craft, how to repair and adjust your body and mind. So, of course, Buddha taught him the 6 perfection in the Diamond Sutra. Something like 布施哈、持戒哈、忍辱哈、精进、禅定、智慧. Yeah, do charity, good deed, keep the precepts, diligent in your practice, patient, endurance, meditation, yes, and then wisdom, etc., etc. There's a lot of things that you have here also, tons of stuff that the Buddha taught him. The Buddha further told him that only the one who can have victory over himself could be truly liberated. Yes. Even if you are very, very good in any craft at all, this is only for earning a living. Even if you win over the whole world, you're champion of the whole world, this is only temporary. Yeah, nobody remember afterward, and you can't do much about it. You still die like everybody else, and you will not know where you're going. So, the Buddha kept teaching all that. He said that if you learn to have victory over yourself, that is the best victory, the only victory you should have. And then you will be able to liberate yourself from the circle of life and death forever. I agree, don't you agree? Yes. Could be like that, huh? Should be like that. Yes. So after just listening to the Buddha's advertisement, the champion, of course, loved very much and, respectfully bowed to the Buddha and request him to teach him. After a while, he also became Arahant so quick. Luckily, he didn't surpass the Buddha like usual. Become Arahant. That is a very enlightened person already. This is a story in a Buddhist scripture. Huh? Probably it's a true story. Yes. I don't know who told the story. Maybe the Buddha told his disciple and the disciple recorded. Yes. So the champion of the world became the champion of himself. Once you become Arahant, that means you have cut asunder all the ego, all the obstruction that bind you to this physical and temporary world. Even it's a temporary, but if you don't cut asunder this bondage, then it's going to bind you forever. Not just this lifetime, but later on. So the guy truly became a champion. Put it that way. And that was long time ago. Okay? I hope you became one like that, all of you. Champion of ourselves. Master of yourself, the Supreme Master. That is the Supreme Master. You know? Okay. So, it's no big deal to become a champion of any kind, even boxing champion or karate champion, anything champion. If we don't win over ourselves, then it's no use. We will die. A weak body like everybody else. And it's just good for the worm. At least good for something after we die. Okay. Now, It is a very good story. You know why? Not because he has win over himself, but because I'm surprised that such a guy, so talented, champion of everything, and still can have enough humility to learn with the Buddha and became an arahant. That surprises me, and that impressed me a lot. Because most of the people in the world, if they are somebody, it's difficult to become nobody. Because in a spiritual practice, we truly have to become nobody in order to become somebody, right? The ego has to be gone so that we can do great things. Because ego is the worst thing that obstructs us all the time. If we think we are something, we are somebody, we are so great, we know everything, then it's very difficult for true knowledge to emerge, not like to get it from anywhere, but to emerge from ourselves. The ego is there, keep thumping our true self down, and we just think, oh, I am a good artisan, I'm a good jeweler, yeah, I'm a good shooter, I'm a good lawyer, I'm a good doctor, I am so and so and so. But in fact, we are not only that. This is just the thing we learn from the world. Everybody can, yeah? Everybody can. If we're diligent and with a little sharp attention, we can learn to master any art in the world that can be learned, you see? But we are not even the need. We don't even need to learn. We are not the mind, we are not the brain that's learning. After we die, even if we lay there, full brain, full body, and we don't function. So the guy who keep the body function, that is the real guy. That is the true self, and that knows everything without learning, without needing of any craftsmanship, any study, or any practice. I'm really surprised that such a man like this, you know, who knows so many things, who travel the world and master all kind of art, and still is humble enough to bow in front of a Buddha and accept him as a teacher so that he can repair, adjust his body and mind. That is difficult, eh? Very difficult already. But because he can do that, that's why he can learn fast and become arahant very fast. I guess after he climbed up to the mountain of fame and glory, he realized in his heart that these are nothing, nothing at all. But a lot of people in this world die for that, for this nothing. Yeah? A lot of war has been fought over this nothing. A lot of life has been lost over this nothing. Fame, glory, empty stuff. Yeah. I'm not talking about like somebody is already in the position of fame and power, but truly using the position to serve others. He has to continue because he wants to help others, either to help them in time of need or help them to know themselves or help them to stand on their own feet. You see, they're already in that position, they're doing it. But these people, they truly want to serve. They don't have the heart to want to gain something, even if they had the position, great position or not great position. It's not their motive to gain some attention. In fact, these people mostly, they don't really like attention too much. They shun the publicity. It's just that they have to endure it for the sake of doing their job. Like, for example, maybe you are president of the country, huh? Yes. It's not like you really wanted to be a president. But since you are young, you already groomed in a political party, yes. And because you're good, everybody trusted you, voted, yes, you to be presidential candidate, for example, like that. Okay, then you have known nothing else, and you just have to continue with your job. But not necessarily that you want that job. You do it because people trust you, because people want you to do it, to serve the country or to serve other people, to serve the world in whatever capacity. So it doesn't mean if you are president that meaning that you really want fame and gain, and not necessary. It's in the heart, yeah? No matter what you do. It's not the outside that counts, it's the inside that you know yourself, whether you are stuck with the fame and glory or not, yes? But it happens like that. So in the old time, there are also many kings who executed his duty as a royal monarch, but not attached to that position at all, whether he has it or not. If he has it, then he continued to serve his country. If it's taken away from him, hey, go rest. Go sleep. Yes. Like King Rama, remember?
Yeah.
Yes. Some of other king. In Vietnam, there was one king like that. He refused to be a king. He renounced his throne and went into a temple in a faraway mountain, remote mountain, and tried to practice Kuan Yin method. What else? What else to make the king can even be so, confident and believing that he renounced the whole kingdom just to go in the temple somewhere in the mountain to practice, huh? Without Kuan Yin method, we get bored after a while if we don't practice this method. The Kuan Yin method is the one that satisfies our longing. They make us feel okay. No matter how long we sit, we could sit.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever we do, we can do it. Yes, that's right. Okay, so this king in Vietnam, he renounced his kingdom, went to the temple, practiced meditation, wanted to be like a renunciate, like a monk. But, his destiny follows him. The whole court officials, namely led by the prime minister at that time, he brought the whole officials, everybody, from the royal court, yeah, he brought them all to the temple. And he said, okay, Your Majesty is here, we are here. Wherever Your Majesty is, then the royal court is. So the king has to continue his duty, yeah? Either stay there or go home is the same. They just say that wherever the king is, the whole royal court will be. That's it. That is the famous saying of that prime minister. That means you can't run away from your duty. That's what he meant. So, of course, what do? You just go back to be a king again. Whether you are in a temple, a king, or you go back to the royal court and be a king, is the same. It's the same job. So might as well do it. Yeah, go home and do it. I guess he would go home and do it. I guess I would also go home and do it. What's the use of bothering all the poor monks in the temple with all these noise and ceremonies and stuff, every day they do in the royal court, yeah? 60 meals per lunch or something like that. So even if the Vietnamese king left the temple now and went back to become the king again in the court and continue, doing what he did and being what he was, do you think he was really attached to fame and glory? Huh? No. You think, now he feels sorry, regret, living in a temple is too poor and too ascetic, so he like to go back home and be a king and have power over the country again? No, huh? No. Now, even if he's a king or not, he just have to do it, that's it. There's no attachment, no desire for fame and power in his heart. That is what it is. So, it doesn't matter what you do, yes? It is your heart is important, whether or not you are attached. So it doesn't mean that if you're king or if you're president, that means you are hungry after power and fame. Not necessary. Not necessary. So we cannot judge a person by his or her position. Yes? But you have to know that person in the heart. Yeah? Okay. All right. I hope you know your heart and that you are very, very attached to the world. Yeah, all kind of things that bind you there and you liked it, huh? Who knows? Maybe. Yeah, see you. Bye.